How's it going, everyone? Today I'm going to be talking to you real quick about this Klein Tools Scout Pro 3 that I picked up. I originally got this one to diagnose a bad Ethernet cord that I had in my house. For some reason, I was plugging it into the router, but then at the other end it wasn't transmitting a signal, so something was up with that, and so I used the tool to figure that out. And then I used it also to map the location of another wire going to my office. So I was trying to figure out which wire was going to the office, so I used the little remotes here to figure that out. So that was really handy. But basically, this is a really versatile cable testing tool. You can use it for testing your voice cables, coaxial cables, and then your data cables like the RJ45 connection, like this one. It also has a cable length measurement feature. So if you were to press this button while a cord was plugged in, it'll estimate the length of the wire, and it can measure up to a 2,000-foot length of wire. It also has comprehensive fault detection, so you can test for open circuits, shorts, miswire, split pair faults, and things like that. So it'll really help you troubleshoot what is going on with a connection. The other cool thing here is it has a backlit display. So if you press that button here, you'll light up the backlit display. So if you're in a darker room, need some little extra light on your display, that comes in really handy. It also has a efficient cable tracing function. So if you have a toner, which is a separate accessory, you can use that to toning different wires, and you can kind of trace cables, wire pairs, different individual connections and things like that. So a bit more of a, so that's a little bit more of a specialized feature, but I didn't really need that one. I was mainly using it for the remotes and testing my Ethernet cord, but that is a pretty cool feature. You also have a hub blink mode. So let's say you're working on network management, you can help identify, port locations on the back of a hub. So that's pretty cool. And then the feature that I used the most was the multi-cable run mapping. So if you have multiple Ethernet cords, running in different places of the office or your house, you can use these little remotes here to identify which wire is going to which location in the home. So that was really useful. So I'll show you how that works. And then in the bottom of the device here, we have another remote here. So you got your coaxial cable, voice, and RJ45 connection. So I'll show you how that works. So let's say we wanted to test the length of a wire. I'll show you how that works. We'll plug that in, and then we'll hit the button here to measure the length of the wire. So we're looking at about 5 feet there. And then to test the wires, to make sure that they're lined up, we can test the wire like that. Okay, and then it says it passed. So wires 1 through 8, they're all in the correct orientation. So everything connected to this end matches how they're connected at that end. If one of these was mismatched, it would fail, and it would tell you which pair was mismatched. And let's say there was nothing connected at all, there was an open or a cut in your wire, it'll detect that as well. So here it's going to fail. It knows that something's plugged into the device here, but at the other end, it's not reading anything, so it's saying that you've got a bad connection. So let me show you how I use one of these remotes real quick. Okay, so here we are in my home office, and I've got 2 Ethernet ports. So I've got 2 Ethernet cords running to the office, and we're going to map out which one is which. So I've got remote number 1 and remote number 2. So we're going to plug those in. Okay, and then I'm going to go over to my electrical closet where my router is, and we'll plug in our tool at the other end, and we'll map out which is going to port number 1 and which was going to number 2. Okay, so here we are near my router, and I've got the ends of my Ethernet cord here that I want to test out. So we'll turn this on, and we'll go ahead and plug one of those in. Turn our backlight feature on. And so this one is identifying this as number 2. And then we'll switch out the wire. And we'll press this button again. And now it's IDing that one as number 1. So then I can label each wire. I can label this one number 1, label this one number 2. And that way I know which wire is going to which port in my office. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll do a quick demo on how this little remote works. So what I'm going to do is, this is one of the cables that I have plugged into my router. So I'm going to plug it into the little remote here. And then the other end of the cable is in my TV room. So I'm going to go to the other end of this cable and plug this into the tool here. And we'll run a quick diagnostic on the function of that cable. And then I'll simulate a failing episode here as well. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so here we are in my other room, and I have the Ethernet cord plugged into the tester, and I have that remote over there by my router, and that's plugged into the other end of this cord over in that room. So let's run our test. So we'll turn it on. We'll hit the network button, run a test. All right, so it's telling me it failed, and it's matching up all but 2 of the wires in there. So that's what we're going to be wanting to troubleshoot, see what's going on with this connection. So in my case, after closer inspection of this plug, it turned out it was a manufacturing defect, and there was plastic that was covering up the metal contacts here, and that was causing my issue. So to solve it, we just cut that off and replaced it with a brand new plug. So we'll run our tests. Hit the network button. Okay, and there we go, we have a pass, so it's reading all 8 wires in there. Everything looks good. And just for fun, we can hit the length measurement feature, see what we got for length. And we're looking at about 80 feet. So it's about 80 feet from here all the way over to where the router is, so that's about right. So overall, really good tool. So if you're in the market for a really good cable tester, take a look at the Klein Tools Scout Pro 3.